Hello everyone, I am Coolguy, welcome back, and today we're taking a look at a very popular scout rifle archetype, the 180 round per minute class. Specifically, we're going to be talking about 5 legendaries, and any later weapon such as a possible Iron Banner scout that is added, it's going to get its own video and comparison. So these are going to be our base 5. We have the Kinetic Call to Serve in Nameless Midnight, and then the Energy Tango 45 Tone Patrol in the End from Trials of the Nine. And these 5 are very popular in both PvE and PvP, and personally I have one of them on me at all times, whether I'm doing strikes, public events, sometimes the raid, PvP. They're top tier in PvE, and we're going to be going over damage numbers for the Crucible. And before we get started, this video is going to be very stat heavy. The goal is to learn about them the most that we can, as much as we can on a base level, and we're going to learn a lot today. We're going to be comparing perks, overall base stats, all of it. Personal preference does play into it. Once within a good archetype like those 450 RPM auto rifles from the previous video, players have different and valid opinions on what they think is going to be better in a certain one over the other. That's fine. I do have these ranked. My rankings are going to be a little bit different than yours, and that's going to be okay. We're all entitled to our opinions, and I encourage you to share your rankings in the comment section down below with each other and myself. The 180 RPM scouts are some of the best in class. These and the 200 RPMs like our favorite weapon allegedly, the Mida multi-tool, but these 180s have some advantages over the 200 RPMs. These meet our expectation for ease of use and damage dealt. Very easy to use scouts, and all of these scouts have the intrinsic precision frame where the recoil pattern is more predictably vertical, just like those 450 RPM ARs. Now in PvP, for these numbers, they're going to be Guardians with 200 health or 9 resilience. It's good to do it that way. It means that the time to kill is going to be a bullet more or a bullet less sometimes, so we're going to take that average of 200. There are a couple of things about their time to kill in PvP that you need to know or at least take into consideration. These deal 48 to the head and 34 to the body, and on paper these have the worst optimal time to kill of all scouts at 1.33 seconds, but don't let that fool you. That optimal time is with 5 shots, 3 to the critical or head and 2 to the body. To better see this, let's go ahead and compare the times to the popular 200 RPM Mida. So the 180 is 1.33 seconds, and the 200, the Mida class, is 1.20. But this archetype does have the best body time to kill at 1.67 seconds. That's with 6 straight body shots. Next closest is the Mida at 1.80. That requires 7 body shots. So in both of these areas, the difference is 0.13 seconds. So we have this little difference. It is minimal, but with this information, I need to drive something home for you guys. It's very important. This is where crazy things start to happen. You need to run at least 4 resilience in PvP, period. And in the stat breakdown, I'm going to call it armor at sometimes, armor, resilience, same thing. There are numerous examples why you need to run 4 armor, but with these scouts, it is some of the most important reasons. So for our Guardians with 0 resilience, 186 health, with 1, 188, 2, 190, 3, 192, and 4, 194. 194 is the magic number here across the board. The 180 RPM scouts take 3 headshots and 2 body shots to kill. We've established that. The Mida will also take 3 headshots and 2 body shots with a Guardian that has 3 resilience or less. You're going to put them at an advantage, making them land 1 less headshot. So once you hit 194 or 4 resilience, it requires a Mida user to land 4 headshots now and then a body shot. So ease of use is going to always go to this class with 3 headshots, 2 body shots. Always going to be that. And since you are and you should be running 4 resilience, you're going to have to make them miss a headshot, which can and does happen. But there's going to be another reason to run 4 resilience. These scouts have something special about them. Since 4 resilience is going to be that magic number, and if players are running 3 or under, this archetype can 4-tap for 192 damage. This results in the fastest time to kill of all primary weapons in the game at a flat out 1 second kill time. There's going to be one other that ties it at 1 second, and it's the 600 RPM auto rifles, but you have to land 11 straight headshots. Ease of use goes to this class. It happens all the time, even Titans, and I couldn't believe that. If players are continually running 3 or less resilience, you're going to make them pay with this scout class. As a closing to this section, ease of use is key. It can 4-shot 3 or less resilience, which happens way more than it should, and with that, it's always going to be a 3 headshot, 2 body shot kill, regardless, meaning you can miss a couple in a gunfight, whereas the Mida user, you're going to require them to land 4 headshots and 1 in the body. So consider it a wake-up call on various levels. Right now, make sure that you're running 4 resilience in PvP. If you get anything from this video, at least do that. Regardless, the 180 RPM scouts, they're very strong, and these are the reasons why on a base statistical level. So here are our weapons. At number 5, I have the End from Trials of the Nine. It is obtained from Trials. It has a range of 46, stability of 47, reload of 46, handling of 50, aim assist of 60, recoil direction, stat of 55, and a magazine of 16. Of the 5 that we're talking about today, it has the worst recoil direction, tied for the worst range, but it has the best handling. So going on, when I say the worst range at 46, there are 3 tied at 46, and there's 1 at 47, and then 1 at 50. So range isn't that bad when I say 46, just of these 5, it does have the worst or tied for the worst. Every other stat on the end is going to be average though, nothing really pops out. The story of this weapon kind of lies with its perks for me. Its barrels are chambered compensator, increases stability, moderately increased recoil control, decreased handling, corkscrew rifling, slightly increases range, stability, and handling speed, and then polygonal rifling increases stability. I would go with the second barrel, corkscrew rifling. This is the only one that improves that poor range, and it also increases its handling, which also is the strength of this scout. It's a win-win situation. I would go with corkscrew. For its perks, we have slideways. Sliding partially reloads this weapon's magazine and temporarily boosts handling and stability. Here's my issue with this perk on a scout. You have 16 rounds. Slideways grants you 3 to the magazine when sliding, and it's on a 2-second timer. The issue that I have is I'm not really moving around too much in PvE and PvP with scouts. So to get this perk to proc, you have to be sliding, and the slideways perk works really good on hand cannons, really good on auto rifles, but we have this larger, slower shooting, harder hitting weapon, and honestly, you can just reload and get it back. There's enough time between engagements with where you are as far as distance that you can just reload. And slideways, it only gives you 3, and it's going to be very rare in select scenarios where this is going to become beneficial on the scout rifle. Then we have auto loading holster, which is Cocoon from Destiny 1. When you holster this weapon, it's going to reload after a short period of time. That timer is going to be 5 seconds. And this is more like it on a scout, and this is the main perk on the weapon in my opinion. You can dump the magazine, leave 1 left in it or nothing, don't even reload, switch to your kinetic, do some more damage, let 5 seconds go by, and then you're reloaded. But its final perk, we have Pulse Monitor. Auto reloads a part of your magazine when the wielder is critically wounded. You get down into critical health, you get 3 shots back, and the key to this perk is going to be a recovery, a high recovery. So while you're red critical, the Pulse Monitor flavor text goes on the screen. It gives you your 3, but it stays there. It stays there until you start getting your health back. And when you recover, that flavor text goes away. It's going to come back when you become critical again. And again, this is my issue with this weapon. First of all, again, if you have low recovery, you're going to be staring at that Pulse Monitor flavor text for a long time. But even if you have high recovery, and if you're critical, you have a scout out, you're probably at range, you have a large magazine, you probably aren't going to peek and challenge, you're just going to sit there, and in that time it takes you to get your health back while being critical, you can just reload. Or you can pull out your kinetic weapon and utilize the Cocoon perk, not even shooting at anything to get the reload back. And sure, again, there's going to be select few times where any of this may come in handy, but most of the time, no. I do not like the overall function of the scout, and it's going to be the last on my list. At number 4, we have the kinetic Call to Serve. Now this one's going to be obtained mostly from the European Dead Zone or from gunsmith packages. We have a range of 47, stability of 46, reload of 50, handling of 47, aim assist of 58, recoil direction of 66, and a magazine of 16. This one has the second best range, tied for the best reload, but has the worst aim assist. Essentially, it only does one thing, but it does that one thing very good, and it has to do with its perks and also it being kinetic. For the scopes, we have Circle, greatly increased handling speed, the red increases range, and the lens, greatly increased range, decreased handling speed. Very simple scopes, it comes down to preference. It has a base magazine of 16, but both of its middle perks increase your magazine. We have Extended Mag, greatly increases the magazine size and greatly decreases your reload speed. It increases the mag from 16 to 18, but severely hurts your reload. And then we have Impeded Magazine on the bottom, increases the magazine size from 16 to 17. So these are both good for what they do because its final perk is Triple Tap. Landing rapid precision hits will return 1 round to the magazine from the reserves. With Extended Mag, you're able to land 26 straight shots in a row without reloading, but when you use this perk, you have a severe related penalty to your reload. With a Appended Magazine, you can get off 25 straight shots without a reload, so 1 less, and that's why I recommend running Appended Magazine on this weapon. The 1 extra bullet is not worth essentially having your reload stat. It's not quite half, but it's close. It really drops the stat. And remember, reload is a strength of the weapon. The 1 extra round is not going to be worth it, especially because the targets that you're utilizing triple tap on to get on these long streaks, they're mostly going to be stationary. Landing 25 straight hits is going to be hard enough sometimes on some targets, and in those in-between times, you could use that reload speed. The reload speed comes up way more often than utilizing triple tap. Being that this is kinetic, it does get high marks. Remember, kinetic weapons do more damage to non-shielded enemies, and non-shielded enemies are the majority of Destiny 2. This weapon has one job and one job only. It's to use that large magazine size, landing precision hits, and it depends on how much value you find utilizing this type of weapon. Its sights are open, they're clear, it's a good tool in your arsenal. At number 3, we have the Energy Tone Patrol, mostly seen from gunsmith packages. We have a range of 46, stability of 48, reload of 46, handling of 44, aim assist of 60, recoil direction stat of 62, and a magazine of 15. It has the second best stability, second best aim assist, and tied for the worst range. Again, it's not that bad at 46. For its sights, we have the post, increased handling speed and slightly increases range. The front increases range, slightly increases handling speed, and the ocular increases range, slightly decreases your handling speed. Its perks are high caliber rounds, which knock and stagger our targets backwards, and also gives a slight increase to range. And then we have flared magwell, slightly increases stability, greatly increases reload speed. Its final perk is Dragonfly, precision kills, granted elemental damage explosion. This is where we start getting some real crossover into PvE and PvP for overall use. In the middle tree, there really is only one option. It's going to be high caliber rounds. In PvE, they stagger our enemies, it takes them away from the offensive, it locks them in place. In PvP, it's going to be ideal. High caliber rounds seem to be running the show with the Mida multi-tool Uriel's Gift. These can cause more flinch to your enemy, it throws their shots off, and as we discussed earlier, if you're running 4 resilience, a Mida user has to land 4 on you, and high caliber rounds are going to increase that chance of him missing follow-up shots in a gunfight. Then we have Dragonfly. It isn't as potent as Firefly from Destiny 1, but it will knock out grouped up trash mobs. And remember, the true Firefly in Destiny 2 is matching elements on shielded enemies. Matching elements is the true AoE, but having the Dragonfly perk at the end really complements the energy weapon. You can't go wrong in PvE and PvP. It's kind of a straight up weapon. You know exactly what you're going to get out of it. Little to no downside. It's the only one with Dragonfly. It's a solid option. You get high caliber rounds. I love this scout. And at number 2, I think is the best kept secret of the 180 RPM class, the Tango 45. It has a range of 50, stability of 50, reload speed of 44, handling of 45, aim assist of 65, recoil direction stat of 69, and a magazine of 16. On a base level, this weapon has the best range, best stability, best aim assist, the second best recoil direction, but it has the worst reload. For the sights, we have the 12 post, greatly increased handling speed, the 28 front, increases range and slightly increases handling speed, and then the 37 ocular, slightly decreases handling speed. For perks, we have alloy magazine, fast reloads when the magazine is empty, and then steady rounds, greatly increased stability, slightly decreases your range. Its final perk is triple tap, landing precision hits will return 1 round from the reserves, just like the kinetic call to serve. This weapon is a low-key monster. I use steady rounds to increase its already best-in-class stability, and on a base level, the Scout outright is better than most in multiple categories. Its downfall, its reload, isn't that bad, and if it's really bothersome to you, you can put on the alloy magazine, just make sure you spin the magazine, or you can add on a reloader mod to your gear. In PvE, it does have triple tap. You can use it similarly to how we were using the call to serve earlier. However, this is an energy weapon, and the kinetic call to serve is going to do more damage to non-shielded enemies, as you guys can see right here in the footage. In PvP is where I use the Tango the most, because with its base stats, it performs very well and is my scout of choice in the energy category when playing PvP. I pair it with the sidearms, I pair it with SMGs, but what's really important on top of all those strong stats is having that best stability, because you're going to add more stability with the steady rounds. Now, this is important in a gunfight, and I'm not really talking about a quality of life thing, being it's a little bit easier to handle because it has better stability. If you have low stability, then as you shoot, the scope pops up as you shoot. It pops up a little bit higher. The more stability that you have, it doesn't go up as far, and that's what's really nice, because what it's doing is it's combating flinch a little bit by offsetting the screen shake when you're flinched. You have to think about it as your highest point of recoil. With low stability, it's going to pop really high, and at its highest point, if you get flinch, it's going to go even higher off of that highest point. So if you have really high stability, it's really tight, the reticle doesn't go up as far, meaning that at its highest point, you're not going to get thrown off as much. Much easier to land follow-up shots, and that's something that I find a lot of value in. And again, the Tango is going to be low-key one of the best scouts in the game. You guys just have to try it. And finally, at number 1, we have the kinetic Nameless Midnight. It has a range of 46, stability of 44, reload of 50, handling of 47, aim assist of 62, recoil direction stat of 79, and a magazine of 16. This weapon has the worst stability, tied for the worst range, but it has the best reload, best recoil direction, and the second best aim assist. It's obtained from Zavala as a campaign reward or from the Vanguard package rank up. For the sights, we have the Red Dot MOA2, slightly increases range, increases handling speed. Red Dot Micro increases range, increases handling speed. And the rifle scope, slightly increases range, slightly increases handling speed. For the perks, we have Flared Magwell, slightly increases stability, greatly increases reload speed, and then Steady Rounds, greatly increases stability, slight decrease to your range. Its main perk is Explosive Payload. Projectiles create an area of effect detonation on impact. These are our explosive rounds. This gives them the most utility in both aspects of the game. In any activity in the game, it's a solid all-around weapon. In public events, in strikes, in the raid, in PvP, it's good everywhere you go. The best way I can describe it, it's a very commanding weapon. Also, considering that it is kinetic, it takes even more value into the consideration because it's doing more damage to non-shielded enemies. I personally feel it's a powerhouse in both PvE and PvP. It's knocking targets back just like high caliber rounds and doing a small AoE damage to targets that are in close together. Not so much in PvP, but you're going to see that in PvE a lot. Now in PvP, the explosive rounds are flinching and it has a slight screen flash. It does similar things to the likes of high caliber rounds. The damage is going to be shared with the explosive rounds, so instead of doing 48 to the critical, it does 31 and the explosive damage deals 17. And that's why I like this thing. You can use this scout every day, everything you do. It's top tier, it's elite. And since we have set perks, the explosive rounds are exclusive to the Nameless Midnight and the 180 RPM archetype. In conclusion, these scouts have a lot of utility. My top 3 in the list are going to be good in both PvE and PvP in my opinion. And again, personal preference plays into all of it. Maybe you value Dragonfly a little bit more than, let's say, Triple Tap. And that's what's really nice about these. You can go with your kinetic Triple Tap. You can go with the best base one like the Tango, the Dragonfly one, the explosive rounds one. And in PvP, its time to kill is more competitive than you think. It's very competitive. So hope you guys learned something. Let me know what you guys think about these scout rifles. What's your favorite one? Let's talk about it. Please remember to rate the video. And until the next one, I am Coolguy.